Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Two Dudes Reviews. In this episode, we are going to be looking at Robinson's Old Tom. And I've never had this beer before, but I've heard a lot about it, so I figured, let's give it a whirl. And if you don't know much about this beer, it's been around for a while. Robinson's is out of Stockport in northern UK. And the brewery itself has been around since 1838. And this beer in particular has been going on since 1899. So I guess when you have a good thing going, you don't want to stop. So yeah, we're going to go into this. If you haven't seen one of the reviews before, we break it down into six different categories. And that is smell, taste, the value for the price, drinkability, distinction, and would I buy it again? And so a lot of times we're going to compare the particular beer to other beers of that variety. And this is, I mean, they characterize it as a strong ale. And I mean, I guess when you have 8.5% alcohol by volume, it does kind of fall into that category. Some might call it more of a barley wine, but I guess that's kind of up to what you feel like referring to it as. Now, if you ever get this, you're probably not going to get a six pack of it. Most places will sell it in individual glass bottles like this. And honestly, I really just like the bottle. It's got the old raised lettering on it. It kind of reminds me of the old root beers I used to drink, when I was a kid. So I don't know, maybe that's one of the reasons why I like the bottle. But anyways, let's crack it open and see what we got going. And before I pour it, another thing, they give you a lot of information on the back of this label. They tell you what to expect with the smell, what it's going to look like, and the taste, which I think is fantastic. That could save you a lot of problem when you're out picking out a beer and you just have no idea what it's going to taste like. And I wish more beers actually did that. Let's see for a second. All right. As you can see, I don't know if it's a little not quite as dark as what it appears in the camera. It's a really, really heavy brown. So let's start out in the first category, which is smell. It's a rich smell, definitely in that barley wine kind of category. Bit kind of sweet. Definitely has that kind of, I don't know if floral is right. The bottle calls it a molasses. I mean, I get more of a dark chocolate smell. Um, but yeah, molasses for sure. But it's definitely just got that almost florally rich chocolate smell to it. Not to a stout. It's still got the kind of alcohol smell you'll get from a wine. So, but it's nice. It's a nice break from a lot of the beers you probably end up drinking, and I enjoy it. So I'm gonna recommend it on the smell. So now, as for the taste, oh yeah, got a little. It's a little bitter. Definitely has that kind of dry chocolate, dark chocolate flavor to it. Definitely dry. It almost finishes like a red wine. Not sweet like that, but it's got that same kind of dry end to it, where the taste doesn't linger too long, but you still have a little bitter left on the back of your tongue. I think especially for the alcohol content at 8.5%, I think it's very enjoyable. Some of the beers that have the higher, seven, eights and up, it almost gets to the point where it's very difficult to drink and enjoy it. You have to sip it more, almost like a whiskey than anything else. But I enjoy it. This is something that you could just kind of kick back and just pop one open and drink it, especially during the winter time. So as it's still cold in the north, you could definitely just kind of crack one of these open in the evening one day just to kind of simmer down and relax. But no, it's definitely enjoyable as long as you're all right with that kind of um, the dark chocolatey and that dry. I don't want to say chalky, but definitely the dry, lingering bitterness in the back of your mouth. If you're fine with that, totally. So I totally recommend it in terms of the taste. Now, for value of price, I mean, you're probably only going to get this as a single. If not, you might find it in a 4 pack, but it's definitely not something that you're going to just clear out 6 or 8 at once. So you're only going to want to buy maybe just one, maybe a 4 pack is really all you need. Especially with your 8.5% alcohol. I mean, it's pretty much twice the alcohol of your normal kind of beverage. Um, so value for price, just yeah, I don't know if you should consider that that it's almost like drinking 2 beers alcohol wise. So if you're just looking to get a little buzz off of it, I mean, yeah, fine, it's 2 beers in one, but the price isn't terrible. From for a London beer, I think it's comparable to what you can get with the Youngs and other kind of British beers. Um, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what I paid for just a single. I think it was close to $2, between 2 to 3, but for the price. It's a fantastic beer. It's not one that you're gonna drink every day, so I'd totally go for the value for price. Now, our fourth category is drinkability. Now, this is not a beer you're gonna drink fast at all. That strong ale barley wine kind of flavor is you're not gonna just pound it down. So you're gonna have to take your time with it. But taking your time doesn't mean it's not drinkable. In fact, for a beer that you have to drink your time or take your time drinking, I definitely enjoy it a lot. It's I'm not gonna have to put it down and wait, and kind of take drink a little bit, put it away, come back, drink more of it, like some of the higher alcohol beers. So drinkability, absolutely. It again, all comes down to if you enjoy the stronger ale, barley wine kind of thing. I don't mind those at all. It's not something I drink every day, but I think for a nice change of pace beer, it's excellent. So I'm going to give my recommendation on the drinkability. Now, category 5 is distinction. How does Old Tom from Robinson's distinct itself from other barley wines and strong ales? And a lot of these strong ales, you're going to get that kind of, I mean, you understand why it comes from barley wine, that name, because you can really taste it. But one thing I enjoy with this, even though it's a higher alcohol content, you don't just taste the alcohol straight up. With a lot of beers, when it gets to this high, I find that they almost brewed it just to get the alcohol content up, and that hinders the flavor. I feel like a lot of times. And it doesn't hinder it at all. You can understand why they've been making this for 100 and almost 120 years. That it's enjoyable. It's different, even though I mean it's not a crowded category of beers, but it's still different enough for you to be able to taste it and be like, okay, yeah, that is an Old Tom's versus a different brand. So it is distinct from other beers, and for that, I'm going to recommend it on the distinction for sure. And the final category is would I buy this again? And now, granted, this is not a beer I'm going to drink every day. It's probably not a beer I drink once a week. Um, but it is a beer I'd definitely drink again. If I feel like having something a little heavier that I can just kind of relax and take my time drinking, maybe I don't feel like drinking a lot, but I want to maybe just watch a movie or a game and just kind of take my time and enjoy the beer for what it is. This is a beer that you're going to enjoy just because it's in front of you and the aromas and the taste. It's you'll enjoy it almost more because you'll drink it slowly. I find a lot of beers you drink too fast and you can't get the entire experience of drinking it. But with Old Tom, just for how the distinction and the way it tastes, it's definitely something that you have to drink slowly, and because of that, you're going to enjoy it more. And so for that reason, I would recommend it, and I would buy this again. And so therefore, this gets the official Two Dudes Reviews stamp of approval, as it is the perfect 6 out of 6. So that is our or my review for Old Tom's from Robinson. I completely recommend, if you haven't had it before, go out and pick up a bottle. And if you've had it before, please let me know. Comment in the comment section. If you hate the review, let me know. If you have a different take on it, let me know. I'd love to hear it. And if you want to get more from the reviews, you can find us at Two Dudes in a Six Pack on YouTube. And we have a podcast. Please follow our podcast. That's, again, Two Dudes in a Six Pack. You can find us on iTunes, on Stitcher. We're in Tuned In. Pretty much anywhere you find your podcast, you can be able to find us. We'll be recording our episode very shortly. And then you can follow us on Twitter at Two Dudes Podcast. So for now, enjoy.